Ukulele after our boot camp last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then our ukulele Friday night. We'll for sure come up with another Friday night to do ukulele also. That was great. That was great. So just as a reminder, next week we are going to do string changes. So try to have your strings next week. You want Nyla gut strings, NYL gut strings. Should be about $10 for a pack of strings, and yeah. We will go over that next time. Actually, will everyone hold up their ukes for a second? I want to see the bridge of your ukulele. I want to see how the strings connect back there. Great. Great. Ray, will you hold yours just a little closer, please? Great. Sean, will you lift yours up? I can't see the bottom. Amy, I can't see yours. Will you get it in there close? Yours might be the one exception. Kathleen, I can see yours. That's great. Yeah, Amy and Judy's ukuleles are going to string slightly differently. But everyone else will be exactly like mine, where you learn to tie this little knot here at the end. Totally okay if you just watch the string change and you don't change the strings yourself, Kathleen. Okay, so let's jump in, shall we? Let's start playing. So let me merge this over. Nope, that's not the one I wanted to merge over. There we go. And where'd you all go? Okay. So today we're gonna do Hashki Venu then. And then we're going to return to our 12-bar blues. And then if we have time, we will learn a new song. But those are going to be the things we're really going to focus on today. I thought we would do a string change, which is why I don't have another brand new song waiting for you. But that should be fine. I'm trying to make it so I don't cover the names of these. There you go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're gonna start, let's make sure everyone is muted. We're gonna start with our chords. C, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. Here we go, now G, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3. For A minor, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Now F, 2, 3, 4, 2. Now we're gonna go to downs and ups. Here we go. Down, up. G, 2, 3. Now A minor, 2, 3, 4. F, 2. Back to C. Here we go now. C, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. A minor, 2, 3, and F. And now we're gonna go to our strum. Here we go now. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. A minor, down, up, down, up. F, down, up. C, down, up, down, up. G, down, up, down. A minor, and F. Okay, remember when we come to those G's to play around with the susses. A minor, and F. Okay, let's try singing. Hashki Venu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom. We're real slow. Let's try to speed it up a little bit, actually. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Here we go now. Hashki Venu Adonai minor. Eloheinu Lishalom Vehamidenu Shomrei C for a second. Just a note, I know we've talked about this before, but when I go to the G and I start doing the suspended chords, I leave my down, down, up, up behind, and I just go to a down, up, down, up, down, up. So down, up, and then I go to the G. Did that make sense? F. Try that. So C, and I go to the G and go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, A minor, down, up, down, up, F, down, up, down, up, C, down, up, now G, A minor, and F. How's that feel for everyone? Okay, thoughts, questions, comments, anything on that? Okay, let's add in some more suspended chords. Let's learn to suspend not just that G in this song, but let's suspend some other things. So we're going to add in a C sus4. I should have said ukulele, or it's going to give us guitar chords. So just a reminder, this is the way to find anything you're looking for on uke. Just type it into Google, and you'll get it. C sus4, images. Here's a C sus4 chord.
How would we know to go with the sus's versus the sevens?
Yeah, that's a great question, Amy. So a seventh chord, the real answer is that you never know, and you experiment and you decide. You play it once and you feel. But what you do is you learn what chords feel like emotionally. So a seventh chord is going to add that bluesy feel. It's going to add an unresolved feel, right? That's a C7. So, Hashkivenu Adonai, right? That doesn't sound lovely. Because it's not a particularly bluesy song. Suspended chords, on the other hand, are almost always going to sound fine as little melodic intervals. So the C sus4 chord, go ahead and try this. So it's your regular C. Mom, do you want to come over here?
I'm just following.
Okay. It's your regular C, and then take your index finger and put it down where you'd put your index finger on an F. Right? So it's your first finger on the first fret on your E string. And you can hear that it wants to resolve to that C, right? It really wants to go there. So what I might do is Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom Hamidenu. Did you see how I did that? Just putting it in there is like a little accent on one of the strums, and you can figure out when you want to do it and when it sounds good or when it doesn't sound good, all of those things, and just play with it. F sus 2 uke. Images. Oh, that's so interesting. An F sus2 on the uke is the same chord as a C sus4 on the uke. It's the exact same chord. So, but let me just explain why. So, in F sus, so normal chord is an F, A, B, C, D. F, right? F, what is F, G, A, F, A, F, A, C is in an F chord. F, A, C, 1, 3, 5. F, A, C. So you add in the G to make it a sus2, right? F, G, C. If you go to a C chord, C, E, G is your regular C chord, and you make it a C sus4, then you add in the E, F instead, and you've got the C, the F, and the G. It's the same 3 notes either way. So all of which is to say we are not going to put up an F sus2 chord. Instead, you can play around with that C sus4 that we have there on both the C and the F. Did that make sense what I just said, or did that totally confuse everyone? Made sense? Sort of? The only takeaway you really need is that C sus4 is the same as the F sus2, and you can play it either way. And you can actually feel it, right? Like, we know the C and the F well enough to see that, like, this is a C, and it feels like this is a C combined with an F, right? So let's try this. C, G, A minor, F. Okay, how is that feeling? Is that hard? Is that easy? Is that... Let's see thumbs. Middle, up, somewhere. Down-ish. I like that, Alyssa. Was it down-ish? Or maybe that's a middle-ish pointing down. Let's be optimistic. The cup's only 2/3 empty. Again, just as a reminder, these sus chords are flavors for us, right? If you think of your regular chords as your vanilla ice cream, these sus chords are the fillers for your concrete, to use a St. Louis metaphor here. So throw them in when you want a little flavor. Same being true of the 7th chords, which we're going to dive into again with our blues song. So let's try this one more time. Let's try it together. Here we go. Ready? And we're going to sing along if you can as well, and just play with these sus chords. So here we go. Here, oh, sorry, Linda's here. Let me let her in, and then we will do this. Okay, here we go. C. Here we go now. C. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. Okay, how'd that feel? Good? Medium? So remember that these are flavors for you, not just in this song, but anytime you're playing your ukulele. That those sus chords are waiting for you. Okay, let's dive. Did I skip over it? I thought it was at the beginning. There it was. Okay, let's dive back in to this chart, which it has been a long time since we have played with it, really. Picture in picture, move over here. There we go. Now I'm not blocking the chords. And actually, let me do this for folks. I know people like it when I do that, so that it keeps me full screen for you. Okay. So, who remembers this chart really well and doesn't feel like we need to go over it? Great. I'm going to take that as a clear sign that we need to go over this chart. You definitely are going to want this in front of you, Mom. I can print it for you. Okay. So just as a reminder, what we're doing here is playing the 12-bar blues. This is a classic American sound. You will find this everywhere. turn on any radio station that is playing rock or pop, and you will find this all over the place. About 2/3 of Chuck Berry songs are just the 12-bar blues. I would say about a half of your Rolling Stones songs or your Tom Petty songs or your these sorts of things are 12-bar blues. Should have printed over there, Mom. So what we are looking at here, just to my side, this is the 12-bar blues split up into three sets of 4 chords, right? So we've got our 1 chord, our 4 chord, our 1 chord, our 1 chord. Then we get our 4 chord, our 4 chord, our 1 chord, our 1 chord. And then our 5, 4, 1, 5. Okay. A reminder about what we mean by chord counting. First, we establish what key we are in. Most everything that we have been playing has been in this key of C, meaning C is the prime chord, the main chord, and usually the first chord. Not always, but usually. And so if C is the 1 chord, then it's C, D, E, F is the 4, and G is the 5. Does that make sense? Everyone can do that math, and that feels comfortable, right? So if we were in the key of G, what's the 4 chord? Your F. Oh, no, sorry, I said that wrong. Your C chord. Ignore me, not your F chord. I'm thinking in the key of C, your 4 is your F chord. Yeah, in the key of G, your 4 chord is your C, and your 5 chord is then going to be your D. Exactly. So we can play these 12-bar blues with or without 7th chords. That's what U2's Bono was really talking about in With or Without You, is the 7th chords. With or without 7th chords. It'll sound bluesier with the 7th chords, but it's a pop song without them. So we're going to start in the key of C because that is the key that we are most comfortable in. We've got our C, we've got our F, and we've got our G. So if you look over diagonally up there, you have those 3 chords listed for you, except I gave you the 7th chord options. I'm assuming you know the regular C, F, and G by now. Here are your 7th chords. So go ahead and review your 7th chords for a second. C7 uses your index finger instead of your 3rd finger. C7 is maybe the easiest chord to play on the whole ukulele. The F7, I always recommend just playing an F and then putting that ring finger down. Ring finger goes on the 3rd fret in between the other 2 strings. Okay, G7, one of my favorite chords to play. G7 from F7 is a really easy switch. Leave your index finger where it is, and your 2nd and your 3rd finger make that sandwich around it. Right, it's actually the same as a regular G, other than it's moving that middle string back 2 frets, right? No. Are you playing, that's a C7 you're playing.
No.
Or an F, yeah, or an F7 you're playing, sorry.
I don't figure that.
Okay, so first let's just go ahead and get comfortable with switching between those chords. So C7, 2, 3, 4. Now go to the F7, F. And you'll notice I played an F and then dropped the 7 down. And then now we're going to go to the G7. And back to the C7. So one thing I like to do is I like to switch from the standard chord to the 7th in one of these. So try going from C to C7. So I recommend keeping your index finger down. Don't let up on your index finger. Just put your 3rd finger down to go back and forth between them. So start just by playing your regular C. And then put your index finger down too. Play your C, Mom. Your regular C. And then you put your index finger down here for the C7. Same string. You just lift up. There you go. Okay, now go to the F, F, and then put the 7 down. Take it off. Put it down. Go back to the C. Make it 7. Now let's try the G7. Here we go. G7. Now F7. Back to the C. And C7. Okay. So we actually played the 12-bar blues there. Did you notice that? When we went through the sort of pattern. You'll notice it sort of instinctively because it just feels comfortable because we know 12-bar blues that well. It's in everything. So let's try going through this. You can either sit on the regular chord, or you can sit on the 7th chord, or you can go back and forth between them wherever you are at and wherever you want to practice. I actually find going back and forth between them easier than just playing the 7th chords, but that's just me. Okay, here we go. Ready? C. And I'm playing a strum of down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And it's blues, so it's supposed to be a little, like, swung is the technical term. But I have a drum machine that calls it the beer count. And you can dial in 1 through 4 beers, and that's how offbeat it is the idea. But you want a little bit of that swung feel, right? You want a little bit of the, like, not quite on the rhythm. Bum, 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 down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Okay, here we go. C, down, up, down. Now we go to the F. F. Back to the C. C. We're doing 2 measures per each of them. Now we're about to be on the F. We're on the 2nd line. F. F. Back to the C. Now here comes the G. G. F. Back to the C. Now turn it around on G. So you'll notice that I went to a much faster strum there, right? Just as a reminder that those are all of our options on a turnaround. A turnaround can be that chord, which is the G on its own, but we can also change the strum to just sort of rhythmically let everyone know that we are starting back over. Okay, I played all of those chords as regular chords, not as 7th chords. So now we're going to do the whole thing again and switch back and forth between the regulars and the 7th. Here we go. Here we go. From the top, C. C7, now F. F7, back to C. C7, C. C7, now we go to F. F, and play with the 7. F. 7, back to C. 7. C. 7, now G7. G7, back to F. 7, back to C. 7. G, back to C. Okay, how did that feel? Okay, good. That's about where we want it. So, yeah, Ray, please.
Yes, I love the rapid strumming and then changing. Very nice.
So,
I love it too. I love the sound of going back from C to C7 and F to F7. It's really cool.
right, it's great. And unlike what we've done other than this, this is not a song, and don't imagine it as a song. This is a jam. Grandma Judy, we heard about you jamming out. We got the story before you arrived. But this is a jam, and you should jam with it. And we should jam together when we do this, which means your goal is not to play the same thing as me. Your goal is to play something that's going to sound fun and interesting and add in to the flavor of it all. So feel free to play around with those strums and hit something hard or soft or 7th or not. Right, that's what the blues is. It's all about adding that emotion into it. Yeah, Linda.
When you say not playing the same, you'd still stay in the same chord though, right? Like you wouldn't be playing an F when I play.
No. Yeah. If I'm playing around with C's, you want to be playing around with C's. But if I'm playing a C, you can play a C7. You could even, right, like you could do a C7 and then a C and maybe a sus. Right, I was just switching between suspendeds and sevenths and throwing in things there, and
just to be exact, C's, sevenths, susses are what we know so far. Those three would be our choices.
Yeah, I'm going to call it your major chord, your two suspended chords, and your seventh chord are the chords that we have really focused on. There are all sorts of other chords. There's sixth chords and ninth chords and all sorts of other things. By the way, a ninth chord is a sus2 chord that adds in the next octave up instead of the octave down, right? Because there's only 8 notes, so then you get the ninth. And on and on. There's 13th chords. You can keep going forever. But basically the chords that I think you need to know to have musical literacy and jammability on the ukulele are just your seventh chords and your sus chords. I really think those are the ones that you're going to use 85% of the time. And if you can play your main chords as major, minor, suspended 2, suspended 4, and sevenths, meaning if you have 5 variations on the same chord, you're golden. By the way, then you get an minor seventh also. A minor seventh is a little different than a major seventh. But yeah, Linda.
One more question. So could you put in a minor there, or would you put in the relative minor? Like if it was C, would you just forget the minors?
I wouldn't play minors here. Yeah.
Okay,
no.
Thank you.
No. A bass player might play around with the minors there a little bit, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. One last note, not to confuse everyone too much, but a suspended chord is not major or minor. Right? 1, 3, 5 is our chord, right? C, E, G, and a C chord. C, E, G. The middle note, the 3, determines whether it's major or minor. If it's an E, it's a major. If it's an E flat, it's a minor, right? But if you get rid of the 3 and you have the 1, 2, 5 or the 1, 4, 5, meaning a suspended chord, it's not major, it's not minor. And you'll hear this a lot. There's a lot of like 80s music that really liked series of suspended chords so that nothing was major or minor. The Police do a lot of that. What's the big hit? Every Breath You Take. If you listen to it, does everyone know that song by the Police? Every Breath You Take. It has almost entirely suspended chords and has no major or nor minor. And it adds to that uncertain kind of feeling that floats throughout the song, for exactly that reason, that it never quite lands in a spot. Okay, should we try that again before we play it in a different key? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna mute everyone so we don't get feedback. Okay, and again, play with the rhythm, play with the seventh or the sus or the whatever it is, and here we go. Okay, sorry, one note. When we started out, you'll notice I'll start on the C, and then to let you know that we're going to begin the progression, I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to go to that 5 chord. And then we start, right? So we're going to do it here. Here we go. C. Here we go. Back to the C. C. 7. Now F, F7, F, F7, back to the C. Now F7, again, back to the C. 7. C7. Now the 5 chord, your G7, back to your F, maybe a 7, back to the C. 7, G7, turns it around and C. 7, F7, we're at the top. Now F7. Back to C. We're about to be on the second line. Here we go, the F7. C. Now G7. F7. And C7. G7. End it on C. Right? And if you end it on a C7, it gets that unsettled kind of ending. And if you end it on a C, you get a resolved ending. And that's entirely about the emotion that you want. Okay, one last note. Did you notice that on this time, when I played my G7, I also then messed with the suspensions? You can do that with the 7th chord. So play that G7. Right? And then your suspensions are the exact same suspensions as they are on the regular G, right? You put your pinky down, or you lift up. This time you're lifting up your ring finger. Yep.
You don't have those like really easily accessible, do you, those susses?
Yes, I can copy them from Hashki Venu. Oh, but these are the regular susses. G7 sus to uke. Kind of amazing how much information is at your fingertips at any moment, isn't it? Okay, there you go. There's your G7 susses right there, which are going to be the same as your standard G susses, except with your index finger back here, right? It's going to be set up like that instead of with it over there on the same string. Otherwise, the suspension that's happening on that bottom string, that A string, is the exact same thing. And I'm showing you, sorry. Oh, but look at that. I didn't put it on the right one, did I? I copied it to Hashki Venu instead of putting it on our blues one. I'm sorry. Yes, let's drop it here. Where'd you go? Okay, there you go. The sheet's getting a little complicated looking here. Not that it wasn't kind of complicated looking before, but okay. Let's try it one more time then, shall we? With these? Or do we want to try another key? Are we ready for another key? No, we're going to try the same thing again.
G. Let's do G.
Yeah, we'll do the key of G next. Let's do that next. I think that's a great idea. I don't even have G listed on here, but we'll do that next. Yep. Okay, let's play this. Here we go. One more time. Here we go. C7. We're going to do 2 measures each. Now we go to F. F. Play with 7s. F. 7. Now go to the C. 2 measures each, remember. Now here we go, the F. F. 7. F. I switched to one measure each. Here, I'm sorry. Now G7, G7. Now F7. C7. G to turn it around. Let's play it again. C7. Now F7. Back to C. F7, maybe suspend it and seventh it, also back to C. 7, C, now G and play with the suspended F7, back to C. G7 and end it on a C or a C7. Okay, there we go. Let's play it through one more key, shall we? We're gonna do it. I don't have the G chords. G, C, T. Yeah, we do. We can do this. Hold on. Let's just rearrange it. We've got all the chords on here, right? We can play G7, and then that D7 becomes the 5, and that G, where's C and D. Okay, so now we're going to play it in G. I just moved these chords around, but it's these 3 chords up here in the upper right. G, C, and D up here, right? Everyone see that? Those are going to be our 1, our 4, and our 5. So start with your G, your regular G. Switching between G and G7 is not nearly as easy as switching between C and C7, right? Because you actually have to move your whole hand around to go back and forth. So that's just one to practice. My hand like stops doing it after a second. Then we've got our C7, which we're real familiar with. And a D7, which is not a chord that we play, right? We don't play a lot of Ds. But a D7 is not hard. I play it with my 2 and my 3 fingers. But you can play it with your 1 and your 2 fingers if you want. Or you could do your 1 and your 3, but that's not what I would do. I would do my 1 and my 2, or my 2 and my 3. Whichever way is more comfortable. Meaning your index and your second, or your second, or your middle, your index and your middle, or your middle and your ring, whichever way is more comfortable for you. Okay, so let's try these 3 chords in a row. G7 to C7. Notice that G7 to C7 is just your index finger moving down a string, right? G7, and then the index finger moves down and everything else slips up. And then D7. The reason I like to play the D7 with the 2 and the 3 is it makes it a lot easier to go from that C7 to the D7 because my index finger is down here. So, here we go. So actually, yeah, here we go. G. Now C. Back to G. G. Now here we go, C. 2, 2, 3, back to G. Now we're gonna go to that D7. Back to C7. And end with G7. Turn it around with D7. Okay, that one doesn't feel quite as comfortable, does it? Okay, your homework is to practice in the key of C primarily. Don't worry about the key of G. If you want to expand to G, go ahead and do so. but practice in the key of C. Have strings ready for next time. We're going to change strings no matter who has strings or not. Nyla got strings, recommended. And then just make sure you order for the right size of your ukulele, tenor, baritone, concert, soprano, whatever it is. If anyone doesn't know what size their ukulele is, raise your hand now and I can tell you. Alyssa, you have a concert uke. Ray, you have a soprano uke. Amy, I think you have a concert uke.
It's small.
Yours is smaller than your mom's, right, Amy?
Yes, but it's bigger than Linda's.
Yes.
You know,
Linda's got a soprano. You've got a concert.
I've got both.
Your mom has a tenor. Ah, there you
I'm
go.
playing with a concert today, and Amy's playing with a concert.
Okay, great. So,
But I have both.
so just make sure you order the right size strings. And
you
we'll.
ordered concert. I was
Rabbi Daniel,
Yeah.
that chart that we just played off of,
Yep.
what's the easiest way to get at that?
Do you still have the link to the ukulele sheet? I can share it if not. Hold on.
Can you just share it again? That would be awesome.
Yeah, no problem. Here you go.
Thank you. That was fantastic.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So jam along with that. Or, pull up Johnny Be Good and jam along to that. Because it's 12 bar blues. Right? Louisiana down in New Orleans. Lived a little girl who was fast as she seemed. Little log cabin made of earth and wood. Met a little girl named Johnny Be Good. Never learned to read or write so well, but he could play that guitar just like a ring and a bell. I said go, right? And so many other songs.
Can we learn that next time?
You know it, Linda. We just played it. It's 12 bar blues.
Let's do it together next time.
Yeah, we can totally do it next
So
time.
fun to do together.
Yeah, okay, here's your other assignment. Listen and come with another song that's the 12 bar blues or something like it.
We can't hear you.
Oh, did you lose me? Can you hear me?
Your sound is like becoming a vacuum, Chords.
What about now? You hear me?
Now, yeah.
Okay, so
Good.
that's your other assignment. Listen to whatever music you listen to and come with a song that is 12 bar blues. Let us know the name of a song that's 12 bar blues. You'll find it if you listen to it. And we're marking off on your final grade if you don't come with it. So it's little bit of housekeeping. We will have class next week on the 25th. And then we will not have class on the 1st. It's going to be High Holy Day craziness for me. We will not have class on the 8th because it is the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Though maybe we should surprise Jim and the Lazaroff brothers and just show up on their stage and,
Yes.
We will not have class on the 15th either. So we're going to be off for 3 weeks. 15th is Erev Yom Kippur. Then on the 22nd, anyone who wants to come can come and play in my sukkah.
Oh, yes.
And
So it's possible that maybe Linda and I would just, and if anybody else wants to,